You know, it's like putting the horse behind the cart.
Okay.
If you're about to get married, one of the first things you must do is have conversations about phone use.
Okay.
Are you and I going to have a home where we can allow each other access to our devices? Or are we going to have a home where we are going to password our devices?
Hmm.
If from the onset, off the bat, your partner tells you, no, you're not going to have access to my phone because my phones are going to be passworded.
Hmm.
At that point, that is the point you make your decision. But what is obtaining in the present is that people who have already gotten married, who have already stumbled on the fact that their partner may not be comfortable with them accessing their devices or even going near their devices, are now starting to and trying to change the norm.
Hmm.
They are trying to change the status quo.
Hmm.
Whereas this is something that ought to have been sorted out prior to. And you see, when it comes to trust, one of the things you need to understand is that, privacy. Privacy is something that we enjoy a lot in the professional world, like my partner said.
Hmm.
You see, we need to be very careful
Hmm.
with privacy and secrecy.
Hmm.
These things sound alike, but there's a very fine line dividing these two things.
Hmm.
Privacy, in my own opinion, is very professional. Secrecy is premeditated.
Hmm.
Secrecy is what you premeditate on. It's something there's an intentionality around secrecy. It takes
Hmm.
you have to actively be involved with
Hmm.
it. Privacy could be something you just have to do for a professional course. So now, on your phone, if you have a password, for instance, and your partner does not want you to touch their phone, I think the first thing you must do is open up conversations around it. Because let me play the devil's advocate. There are people who have very sensitive jobs.
Hmm.
There are people who their jobs may not allow for anybody, regardless of who that person is. I
Yeah.
have seen those kind of people
Okay.
to have access to their phone,
Yeah.
even if it's their spouse. And this kind of people, they will never allow you near their phones, regardless. So at this point, the case might not be okay, can't they get a work phone? And there are people who also are not even allowed to
Hmm.
have more than one phone.
Okay.
We have different jobs out there.
Yeah.
And at this point, it boils down to one thing: the people involved in the relationship or marriage. Once you start to have issues around passwords, it boils down and it points towards a dysfunction in your marriage. It
Hmm.
means that trust is a concern. And trust is one of the fundamentals you need for every healthy marriage,
Hmm.
aside from intimacy and good communication.
Okay.
If trust has been affected, it is all encompassing. It will creep into every aspect of your marriage.